Now then, and welcome back to another episode of Forever Stranded. You are stranded with Nemsun once again. It's been a little while, it's been a week, I've had a week off. It's been school holidays. The schools break up, have a week off, and me and the kids have some fun time. Just basically, with the kids being off school, they get to use my computer, and we get to play stuff together and do other things, and they get to just chill out and enjoy computer time. What would have been Daddy's computer time ends up being the children's computer time, and Daddy goes and does other things instead. Yeah, like taking them down the field and taking them out for bike rides and stuff like that. So I have not been producing videos for last week, so I apologise. But welcome back. We are back now, and I've been busy. I've been doing little bits and pieces around the place while I've been on holiday. So before the holiday, I was setting up things like the arc furnace and all that kind of stuff from advanced rocketry. And there was another quest that we needed to get to, which was not the crystallizer. We could do that. There was another quest that we were working on moving worlds. Cutting wafers required me to make this cutting machine. Right? Once we've got the ball, we need to cut it, which needed an advanced motor. And an advanced motor is going to need some titanium, and the titanium only comes, in this pack anyway, only comes from titanium dust, which we get from breaking Ruthull ore, which we don't find anywhere, we don't get anywhere, other than when we're sieving. So we get a chance of finding it, a very small percent chance, a 7% chance of dropping it when we sieve nether gravel. And of course, nether gravel is made from smashing, hammering netherrack into gravel. Okay? Right, we got that. So we needed a way to make netherrack. The easiest way to make netherrack was in a stone barrel. Put lava into a stone barrel, put redstone into the stone barrel, get netherrack out, and then hit the netherrack with a hammer to break it. That was basically the plan, right? But my factory wasn't really set up right at the time, and I've been playing around with this whole setting things up, laying the groundwork ready for installing things later on. Now, we went down the route of turbines quite a few episodes ago, and I made all the parts to complete the quest, but I didn't actually create one because I had no real reason for the power. Now, here we are, and I thought I could do with having power. So I was originally going to start with 1 + 1. One making steam, one using the steam to turn it into power, and then putting the water back in here so that they carried on going between the two. But then once I looked at it, it needed symmetry. it just needed symmetry. So I thought I'd better sort this bit out. So I made all the other parts for another turbine. I made an equally over glorious turbine using lots and lots of iron and cyanite. All of these blades and all that is actually not productive, really. This is currently running at 845 RPM, and that's just because I've turned off the coils for a little while, so it's slowed down, and now it's speeding back up again. It takes ages to speed up one of these things to the top, but when I leave it on the server overnight, it literally gets up to the top here, and it's running at like 5,000 RPM. It's not producing anything because when I engage the coils, that's when the coils start converting that speed into power. And this is now generating 2,200 RF per tick. But it's soon losing all of that as well, right? It's soon losing all of that because the speed goes down as you put the steam over it. So we've got a few issues still with this. It's not quite working to its best advantage. I could do more, and I will do more over the course. But at the minute, I'm happy with the way they look, and that was the most important part, was making it look right for me. Making the 2,000 RF per tick, I can do both of them, and I can end up with like 4,000 RF per tick off the both of them running at the same time. And the speed of the rotor takes a long while to run down. I think it's going to be something to do with maximizing and minimizing all the bits and pieces that are going on inside these 3 reactors to make power. But the power is just coming out on the top here. So, hey, hi dude. Wow, you were super speedy. Oh, because we're on these things. That makes it very difficult to do anything, doesn't it? Thank you. Are they running around on these things? Are they super fast on these things? on skystone slabs, because we got so much skystone from that place. I turned them into skystone slabs. Oh well, we got that. Yeah, I'm gathering up the power from these at the minute, so it's not wasted. Whenever I turn it on, it's not wasted. It comes into these great big capacitor banks and dense energy cells for an AE2 system. I wanted the AE system. I wanted the applied energistics setup running on here inside the place, so that we could. I know what it is. I just realised what it was. That doesn't have a light source on. They can spawn on these. They can't spawn on top of the reactor. They can't spawn on the half slabs. But since I've added these in, they can spawn on top of there. That'll be what it is. Yeah, I wanted to have an AE system running up on the top here, on the top level, going down into the different places, right? So that I can use platforms like this and have applied energistics and power systems going down to connect up the machines. So we'd have the machines on the ground floor, like we're doing over there. I'll rearrange those, of course. And then we would have the wiring coming in from the top sections, right? So here's an example of something I have done. It's a little 3x3, turning sand into sandstone, right? These reservoirs from Aranda.io, they're quite complicated to make, but they're there nonetheless. We've got lots of mobs outside. I set up the mycelium, so I've just basically moved things around. I took down what was here before, and I've moved things around a little bit. The mycelium that was making barrels of witch water before is still mycelium making barrels of witch water. But now it's automated so that I put sand in there, the sand goes into the witch water, and it gets pulled back out into soul sand. The water just keeps refilling the witch water barrels, and then they convert themselves into witch water at that length of time, you see. So it's a nice little compact thing that looks pretty good, and every time it refills itself and adds another one, depending on how much sand gets put in there, right? Easy. Over here, we've got the basic manipulation of things. I tried to make it look good with some bricks behind it as well. But in essence, we've got the original sort of Stirling generator setup, which was making cobblestone into the crucible to make lava. The lava then gets transferred into the Stirling generator to put lava buckets in the Stirling generator, and I've got some of these special capacitors to make it a more efficient process to make power, right? It's not the most efficient process to make power, but I've always got this as a little backup, and I didn't want to just chuck everything away. There was no point having these Stirling generators thrown into a storage chest and then work off this power, even though it's right next door. I appreciate. I wanted to use this up. I wanted to make this a thing, and I think it looks quite cool inside my factory as like an early tech. I can also come over here every now and again, and I can put a power capacitor here, and all of the power will fill up a capacitor bank for me, which is useful from time to time as well when I don't want to come and use this stuff. Yeah, all that stuff's in full use. Also, we've got lava production over here, so this is all producing the lava. This is lava production, and it should be keeping this ender tank full at all times. So that's the main thing, right? It's making lava. But it makes a bit of power for these machines as well. We've got a few different machines just making fundamentally basic things you can from making cobblestone. So all the cobblestone gen down there not only makes lava, but it also comes over here, gets turned into smooth stone, and then gets stored over the smooth stone. It gets smashed by some hammers down into gravel, and the gravel gets stored over here. The gravel also gets smashed down into sand, and the sand gets stored over here. The sand gets smashed down into dust, and the dust gets stored over here. But the sand also gets put into a furnace and turned into glass, and that gets stored over here. So it's all free generation of stuff, and these are the things we can generate just off this very simple cobble gen. Cobblestone, multiple millions of cobblestone, gravel, smooth stone, glass, sand. I've started compressing the dust because dust is going to be rather relevant in the future. Lots and lots of dust, right? So that's a section that we had set up before, but we had it all being sieved and sifted. That dust is going to get sieved and sifted, but this is the initial setup over here, right? And as you can see, there is some lava and water above there for the cobble gen section. Yeah, lava and water above the cobble gen section. It makes that look like there's 2 big tanks of liquids up there mixing to make all of this stuff down here. Okay, but on the outside, it houses something extra special. Look, it's got these on the front here. Slight design thing. They don't actually function very well, these ones in here. This isn't optimal efficiency in here. This is to make it look good from the outside. These are the generators that generate the power for my angel ring, right? And they're inside here. I left the roof off because I kind of like it on the map as it shows up the 2 different colours. So I've got a little section inside there that's for display on that side. I've got a little section in here that's for display on this side, and the actual practicality of it is here. And over on this side, same again, we've got a little water reserve in that section, and then we've got this side looks right, and then this bit in the middle is where the actual power is created. It's like 16 GP per block, right? So we've got all that going on. And I'm saying I've got all this GP and then I've run out of GP. No, I'm fine. I should be fine. It was just a little bit of server lag, thanks to all the mobs figuring out it's now daytime and they're all about to die. So yeah, we're working on just a few more bits and pieces. I've also considered this roofing side of things, but I still haven't decided how to do it. I've been using a lot of sky stone or sky bricks because of the meteor that we demolished to try and find all the bits, and I don't know if I like it more than I like the futuristic. I might have to do a few bits and pieces of it and then do some more futuristic style bits and pieces to add in some bits here and there, maybe in like the doorways and stuff here. This is just a doorway into the back of the reactors. You don't actually go anywhere from here. This is just the sides and the back of the reactors, just so I can get to the pipework, get to the ins and outs, restock the yellurium and take out the cyanite from this one and so on. It's just looking cool out the back here. It's just a little something, but I could do something on here of design wise to make it look a little bit more futuristic. I feel that's what I've been working on, the shapes of it to make it symmetrical and stuff like that. But today I wanted to get on with where we left off. So we left off wanting to make lots and lots of nether gravel. So in the same sort of setup system here, we've got a little 3x3 pad inside the factory that's got the materials up above, right? I'm going to have the next section here, and we're going to do 9 stone barrels, and that's going to be my setup for making netherrack. I will be manipulating all of the resources with applied energistics very soon, like maybe next episode, where I'm going to be doing this. You've probably seen this already, right? Along this run here, we have 8 storage buses, not yet connected up to an applied energistics system. And those of you that know applied energistics know that 8 is the perfect number, and it's also symmetry, and it's also going to be practical for a channel in applied energistics too. So that will allow me to have access to all of the things that is stored in here. Those storage buses will allow a linking of all of these storage locations to the applied energistics system, which will be up there. And I'm going to do the same sort of thing with this. I'm going to insert sand into here, not a storage bus, but insert. So it'll take from over there and insert into here, and then keep this full all the time, but it'll have a storage bus on here. So this will only ever get to 32 stacks, and then the whole setup will stop, grind to a halt, until I extract via the storage bus into the system somewhere some soul sand. And I want to do the same sort of thing over here with the lava. So we're going to put down, first of all, we're going to fill it all in with lava. So we've got this set up here, which will be the first part, right? I'm trying to remember which way around I did this. Let's go with, actually, yeah, I'm trying to keep them symmetrical, or symmetry is kind of a nice thing for it, but it's trying to keep it so it looks like 2 machines, because the majority of the machines that we're going to be using are going to be looking quite cool. Man, all of those had the different things on from previously. They were pre-configured. See if I can I clear all configure? No, I don't want a void mode. That was not what I wanted. Void mode, if not container. Void slot accepts all items that are not fluid containers. No, never void. We don't want voiding. So, change this. Oh, change this all around. I've got to change all of these. It's my own fault. It's my own fault. I want to output down to there, okay? So, I'll set this up so the whole thing is one kind of multi-block tank, right? And I've only chosen 4 because of the 4 for this over here. The only reason I've done 4 is because of that, right? And then that should put all the lava into each and every single one of these. It's going to be a slow transfer process to get them all done in the first place, but we should be quicker after a little while. I could also use this one at the back here and change all of these round and put a push on there. That might work. And I can also change this to extract as well, so make it probably faster that way if it's extracting. That'll probably work faster as well to fill all those up, right? And then we just need to do the item conduits. So I'm going to do all of these. I better do this one first, I suppose. And that's going to be an insert and extract. We're going to go in and out. Extract is going to be always on. Insert's going to be redstone when it gets the chance. Okay? And I need to set all of these up the same as that now. We've done the middle one. That's the worst one to get to. They kind of, when they form this 2 pipes going through the setup, these conduct connectors make the whole thing look very machine-like, don't they? Like very machine-like, even though they're individual pipes. So we can now change this to in and out mode and have it auto extract. And I'll just quickly go and do all of these to get them all set exactly the same settings. Okay, that's the last one. Okay, so now they're all set on insert and auto extract, right? We're going to start by having this here. This is not going to be connected to that, so that should be disabled. Nothing going on there. We put one of the boxes on the side here. Actually, I hate it when they don't connect in the right way around. They connect to whichever side you're placing it. They don't connect from the side you're placing it. Like other block placement, it normally places facing the player. But in these ones, let's go there. In these ones, you have to place it on a surface, and so it only does it then. Right, and then we'll put the redstone into there, and now if we turn this on to extract, let's get that extract always, right? It will start putting all of the redstone into those barrels of lava, turning them all into netherrack, right? And then if we do the same thing over here, we bring this up, we'll turn that one off as well. We'll have that disabled, and we'll put a box above there. We can then have this into insert, and it will start putting all of the netherrack in there out of there. So then it will refill with lava as fast as it can, and then it will put the redstone in and take the netherrack out. And it will continue doing that until I have got the 32 stacks of netherrack. I could, of course, improve the amount I can put into this storage drawer. Or I run out of redstone, whichever comes first. So when I get through 32 stacks of redstone, 32 stacks of netherrack have appeared from this system. It should work. The other thing I've got to do here is change this so that they actually pull from there. So instead of the pull push everywhere, we've got to pull from above. So we've got that bit. And this one, we also want to pull from above. Instead of push pull, we'll pull from above. That should work. Does this need setting to push down? I guess it does. Push it down. There we go. And turn the other things off. So that should now fill that up. That one's already emptied out. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to do then, right, is add the ender tank, because on this side of the reservoir I've got the water supply. So it is automatically ejecting water into the water ender tank. I've got my lava supply being generated over here, so to symmetrify it and try and keep it looking like a similar system, I want to put this here and then set this up so that it's pulling from there. So it's pulling the lava out of there and putting it down into all these, you see? So it's a constant flow. It's just not as fast as I expected it to be. Not as fast, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be fast enough because it's server-based work. So it can just keep doing this for a very long time, can it? Let's put that on extract. Does that work? That fills that up a little bit faster. Yeah, that's good. Fill it up faster, and then that'll fill all those up faster. The thing at the minute is that it is not working as fast as fill it, take it out. And then this fills it up as fast as it can, but then it's emptied again and it carries on filling. So we'll then never get to a point where it's got enough in it. I think I need to make this one push. It is pushing already. Okay. This one to pull. It is pulling already. The transference between the two are not very good. Maybe a tank would be better. And then I just fill the tanks. I wonder if there's a multi-block tank that I can use similar to that. Because this multi-block tank isn't fast enough at removing stuff, it doesn't seem. Doesn't seem like it is. This can also have a pull from there. And that should get it moving forwards. Yeah, well, I'll have to work on that maybe. I thought that would just work. I thought it would just be enough. Maybe my settings are quite out. Or maybe it's just using far too much. It's working. Maybe that's what it's doing. It's pushing through as fast as it possibly can. It's doing the processing of turning it redstone into netherrack. Okay. But it's not doing anything else fast enough to make it look like next door. But it's going to be okay. That's going to be alright. There's the two processes there set up and sorted. And there's all this processes here set up and sorted. The next thing we need to do is take the power and put a power supply for an AE system and put some channels down through here so that we can make these into storage or import exports so that we can do a few more bits and pieces. I would also like to do some sieving and breaking of things, like sieving this setup here. Sieving the soul sand yields us quite a few things. If we have a quick look at soul sand again, you probably already know. Uses of soul sand in a sieve, we get nether quartz, gas tears, and nether wart. The nether quartz is the thing that we probably want the most of, but we can do that separately every now and again. If I've got 32 stacks in here, then I've potentially got 32 stacks of that available to me. Whereas this needs hammering into the nether rack gravel and then sifting to get some of the titanium for that one purpose over there, really. That nether rack, I don't really need to sieve it very often. So maybe I'll just set these up as independents. A little independent system that doesn't happen very often. Maybe I would just come and manually take it when I want it and do some work with it. In fact, we've got a few stacks here. I'm going to do a bit of smashing and then set up a sieve. And I can do that in here as well now. Well, I'm glad I'm not going to need to do this very often, because just making those first few stacks of netherrack in order to do this, I've already used up all of the lava generation over here. All the lava generated has just been emptied out. That's all of these tanks and the ender tank all emptied out just to make this happen. A few stacks of redstone, which I'm not worried about, but still, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of lava has been used to create just a few bits and pieces. And I don't know if I've got enough, to be honest. I've been auto-hammering and hammering myself to get as much of this nether gravel as I can. I'm probably going to need some more. Oh, wait a minute. No, I think I might have enough there. Titanium dust is what we're after. And it's a limited, difficult resource to get hold of. But I might have enough now. The other stuff is useful, so I'll carry on doing the nether gravel. I just won't do it very often. I would kind of have it so that I'll do a stack of redstone, turn it into nether rack every now and again, rather than having it in some kind of automated process. Ego's also been... Oh, Ego, awesome. That puts us up to 8. Ego's also been doing a bit of work for us. These broken ores we can also use a bit later on for different things, obviously. But I'm not worried about those too much. I've got to cook this now, I think. Let's do this. No, not that one. That's always full. This one. I think we just cook it in here. Is that a thing? No. Do we have to put it into something else? What are the uses of this to make it into a thing? It is just smelting. An alloy smelter. One makes an ingot. Have I got this set on different modes? Oh, I've got the charcoal in there. That's why. I was doing charcoal earlier to do some steel, wasn't I? So I'm going to put that away again. Right, so now this just should do 3 at a time as well. I don't need the power on anymore. Turn that off. Let that run down. There's 3. The first 3 we can use to make these rods that we're going to use for the engine. We get those, right? The next couple, we've got 5 here. The next 5, I think I only need 3 doing, but that's going to be something else that we're doing in the factory today. And it might be this machine here, I believe. So let's get the power supply from here. And whoop, thank you. Give me that power supply. And I don't know where it's supposed to connect. So bear with me while I figure out which side it's supposed to connect on. There's a machine structure there. There's a motor just there. There's an input hatches on this side. Well, the input hatches is where we're going to want to put one. The output hatches. Okay, output hatches. Machine structure, input hatch. Input hatch there. That's fluid for the input hatch. That's the power. Okay, so we've put this next to the power. That should put the, let's put the power in. Okay, and then is this an input hatch? Yes, it is. So we'll put 1, 2, 3 in there. I think that's all I need, 3. And then I guess we access here and turn it on. And it should roll them out. Well, it's taken all of them. And it's eaten them. I'm sure it's working. It must be working. But it's taken... There's nothing in... No, they're all still in there. Okay. Uses of this. I can turn it into what exactly? I can turn it into that, but I can also roll it. That's what they're supposed to do. Put 1 in there, and it turns it into that. Or I can lathe it into that. Or I can furnace it down into other bits. I'm supposed to be able to just put that in there, titanium plate, run it through, and it does that. Okay, so I've put it in there. I've turned it on. And I've got power. Do I need a liquid? Or maybe I need water in it as a thing as well. Let's get... Well, for now. For the now, let's get this ender tank from round here. I know I've got another one kicking around somewhere. And I don't want this one to be gone from here forever, because this is the source. This is where I get the water from. It's not the other way around. This is what feeds water to other places. So I need to put that back in a minute, but let's just see if it needs to be added onto here. If I put that on top, does that work? Becomes a multi-block. Let's go that way around. Yeah, it fills up with water. Okay, is it now it's now working, look. Oh, awesome. Okay, so we've learned how to use the rolling machine now, and that seems to work perfectly. It did use all that water up. And then it put 3 titanium plates in there. Cracking. Cracking stuff. Awesome. Let's put this back quickly while I think about it. Otherwise I'll wonder why my water's run out in other areas. Soon used that up though, didn't it? Soon filled up with water. But that's okay. I can do that next time. Let's put that in there. Good, good. That's now hooked up and refilling. Good, good. And now we've got to do a little bit more crafting to make this final bit of motor. And that's what all of it's been about. So the whole week I've spent doing all this kind of stuff for the fun of playing, as well as for the preparation to make this happen in today's episode. Let's have a look at motor again. There's some other bits and pieces that I think I'm missing for this advanced motor. Oh, the aluminium coils. Let's do those. 1, 2 of those. And then we get that, which is the enhanced motor. And I'm so pleased to say that that's arrived today. And that is the final part of that quest now, it should be. Detect. I have crafted your thing. There we go. And now I need to make this machine up. A cutting assembler and all that kind of stuff needs making. We've made all the bits and pieces for it. But that is it for today's episode. I think I've done for today's episode. There's a bit more stuff that I want to do. There's a little bit more stuff that I want to get on with. But in regards to where we are currently in the series, I think we're bang on track to do a load more automation and bits and pieces in the next few episodes. So thank you very much for hanging around while I've had a little holiday. I will see you in the next episode very soon for some more Forever Stranded with Nemsun. Goodbye.